Hello friends, I am super excited to present to you another sketchbook tour. I'm especially excited because that means that I finished this flippin' sketchbook, which has been the bane of my existence for a while. So this is the first of the 4 sketchbooks that I wanted to complete this year, that I have started. I started this in 2016, so I'm very excited to finish it now in 2020. Real quick, I had a hard time working in this until I decorated the front to try and make it, more likable. It is a Canson XL watercolor sketchbook. I hated it. I hated the paper, which was weird because I actually use just the loose paper that comes in the pads. I use that a lot for a lot of my art, but the paper in here just seemed really different and I did not like it. So would not recommend unless you were just using it for quick swatches or whatever. So, but I'm sure it's cheap. I mean, the paper's cheap, so. Yeah, these are 2 stickers made by my friends that I will link below if you're interested. These are 2 that I received as gifts. And then this is a little Posca pen doodle that I did that, leaked through quite a bit. So, yeah, let's get into it. So, started in 2016. Finished March 4th. This is a big sketchbook. It is 9 by 12, and this is the biggest, I don't like working on big spaces, so very excited to have finished this now. Anyway, so this is a tattoo design that I had started doing. Eventually I want to get my arm covered in nature inspired things, lots of plants and flowers and an owl skull. Yeah. So minus the blood. Don't really want the blood, but I did that just for fun and to fill up space. This is a fun little comparison. I did this little watercolor nebula painting, space painting in 2016. And then I did this the first week of January this year. So same exact paints. I don't know what paper I used for this, but yeah, same exact paints. This one's a lot brighter than this one, so you can see how far I've got. Just fun. This is a painting I did of my hand. You can see my tattoo there, and a little cup of space, because I'm still obsessed with space. And this is actually the best hand I think I've ever painted. I'm so proud of this. Alright. This was the first page that I filled out when I started working in this sketchbook again. Just a bunch of little portraits I was practicing. These 2 I made up without reference. These 2 I used reference. This is my favorite one, which is why there's a little star next to it. I also decided to practice noses. This is the best one. An eyeball. I think this is my pothos. And my spider point. And these are bangs that I was doodling. And then these were some Instagram ladies I was following. I think now I'm only following Mrs. Angemi, who is a physician assistant. But there's Princess Gem 4, who's an artist, Khaleesi Del Rey, who is a body positive queen, and then Harnam Kaur, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, who's also a body positive queen, and she is also one of the few ladies who has a full beard. And this is one of my favorite paintings that I have ever done of a person, because it actually looks like her, and she's actually featured it on her profile once. So yeah. Some Spider-Gwen doodles. This one I did back in 2016 that has a clear inspiration to it. And the reason why I never finished this is because back several years ago I would like my sketches so much that I would be too self-conscious to paint them for fear that I would ruin them. So I do want to transfer this, now that I have a super cool light box, onto different paper and finish it, because I'm still pretty proud of it and I really like it. This is a sketch that I did just trying out my new, or trying to evolve my style with Spider-Gwen, because she's my favorite character, one of my favorite characters. So, but I didn't want to finish this. I just moved past it. Some sketches I did of my son as a Pokemon trainer. This is my oldest Miles. I took a picture of him with some Pokemon dolls and then drew some cute little illustrations of him in a cartoony style with Pokemon. This is my Destiny character. For Destiny the game, I play on Xbox. I'm a Titan main, and then this is my Hunter. I redrew my Titan this year, doing a new style, and I really like it a lot. And I love the way I did the hair, and I haven't been able to recreate that hair since. Here is a Totoro painting that I did. Again, this was a big sketchbook for me, testing out watercolors and how to use watercolors. So, and it's got something gross right there. No idea. These are, gosh, I want to cover this so much because it's so bad. Me trying to do realistic portraits. So this is the Avalanche Captain, Gabriel Landeskog. And I still kind of like this, even though it doesn't look anything like it, but you can tell that it's a dude. And originally his neck was a lot longer, but somebody commented on it, so I pulled the jersey up a bit so you can see these two little lines is where it used to be and made it better. And this is Doctor Strange. And this is me just filling out page space. This is something I debated covering up because it's so bad, and like even back then I said there's no saving this. But then I decided not to, because you gotta have like the bad stuff with the good so you can see your growth. So I was like, I'll just leave this for everybody to see, because it's awful. But I have grown since, and I'm proud of that growth. Here is, oh my gosh, what is her name? Leela, there we go. Turanga Leela from Futurama that I did back in 2016, 2017. This is a newer sketch that I did of her. And then this is a kookaburra that I did. I made a sticker of this little guy, and you can get a pack of him and a print inspired by the Australia bushfires that happened. And all the proceeds go to a koala hospital. And so these are still available till the end of the month if you're interested. And then I will be making the donations at the end of the month. So these are limited quantities. Here are my cloud studies. And here are some Pokemon that I did for my very first live stream on Instagram. A little Bulbasaur, Cyndaquil, which are my two favorite Pokemon. Pumpkaboo, Rowlet, and my little Demon Oddish. And a Xenomorph that I started and never finished. Let me talk about this real quick. I am so super in love with this, and I'm proud of like the pose and just the back and the way that I had the clothes like scrunched up and falling, and the hair, and just the way the face is. Oh my gosh. So this was a painting that I had started, a little illustration I started of a witch, a regional witch. So this is my Norwegian witch, being Norwegian, that I started, and her little troll companion who's looking up at her, and he's just so cute. So mushrooms on his back and the moss in his ears. Oh, love him. And I will be redrawing this. I'm super excited to redo this and see if I can at least make the folds, look as good. Here is my final illustration that I did for Inventory May last year, where every day of the month it was Stacy. I'll have a little thing for her up here. Stacy Art, she made this little list of things to do in May. Instead of Mermay, it was Inventory May. And you got to draw a different inventory item, kind of like almost like a Dungeons and Dragons sort of thing. So what it kind of reminded me of. A little inventory item every single day. And so there was staff, there was kettle, boots, tunic, coat, potions bottle or just bottle, backpack, tons of items. And those were the ones that I incorporated into this final illustration, which was the last day of the challenge, was to do a final illustration of some of the items. So we've got our little wanderer off the beaten path, And it's raining, not snowing. So, but this was the hardest. This is when I started to incorporate colored pencils into my drawings more, because anytime I tried to layer this, the colors would lift off. So like right here was a perfect example of where it was lifting. So I just left it because yeah, the paper is really awful and the watercolors lifted very, very easily. So I started adding colored pencil to the shadows and such. These are some rough sketches that I did for a much larger painting that I'm planning. A giant canvas that I have hidden behind my bedroom door currently. That I plan on putting up on my wall in my living room. So these are just a couple of little rough sketches that I did. Here's a Palomau for Monster Hunter that I drew and painted while playing Monster Hunter and waiting for my team to be ready to deploy so we could go fight monsters. So, but I love him. He's so cute. And this is Coral from the Coral Highlands. Yay, here is my mixing media page. So here's all the testing swatches that I did. These are swatches that I did of more materials that I have that I haven't done anything with since. I need to figure out something to do with those. But yeah, here's all the swatches of the different mixing medias. Here is one of the paintings that I did. I'll have the video up here with some of the mixing medias. Here are some sketches I did of Sailor Mercury, who is my favorite Sailor Scout, while I was watching Sailor Moon. Here's a little doodle of one of my Patreon tiers for Prince. Here are some pose studies and people studies, and this was my favorite one with the flat butt, monkey arms. No, I don't know. Here's my cute little cockatiel that I have over on my Instagram, and my handsome boy Huck, who likes to sleep with his face shoved flat and under him because he's a dork. All of my rats do this. All 4 of them do it, but he's a big, puffy, snuggly bug who loves head scratches, so I love him. Here are the first original sketches that I was doing for my spider Sona, which again, I'll have linked up here if you want to check that out. So it's not actually my spider Sona, it was my son's spider Sona that I did for his 10th birthday. So here's some sketches I did. I really like how this one came out. I had an idea roughly of how I wanted to do the pose, and so I was kind of basing it towards that and the whole profile view and everything, and just trying to practice drawing boys here, younger boys, because he is, younger. And then doing body, trying to get the motions correct. My first initial little thumbnail of what I was going to do. Here's another sketch. I was doing these all in pen, so that way I wasn't tempted to erase it. Now here's what I did in the actual video of sketches for it. So here's his body with his face coming through his mask. Here is a design of the hockey jersey that he was wearing. Me testing out the logo, testing out possible poses, little thumbnails of what it ended up turning into. And then here was the first actual sketch that I ended up tracing onto paper and redoing and painting in my video. And this is my peace lily, which you can see the little leaf of right here. Little peace lily leaf. Alright, here's a prayer plant that my friend told me to draw, so I did. I asked her, I was like, what should I draw? She said prayer plant. With papaya, little shimmery hummingbird, little typical Jess doodle, me testing out another little test doodle of my spider plant again. And these are, I'm sure most of you have looked at these and go, oh my gosh, I know what these are. Yes, they are Hogwarts houses. So these are going to be a sticker set that I will be creating. I've already transferred them onto different paper and I just haven't got around to painting them. But eventually I will have them available in my shop as stickers. So yeah, the little houses, Gryffindor, Slytherin, Ravenclaw, which is me, Proud Ravenclaw, and Hufflepuff. Okay, so let's move that real quick. These are some plant drawings that I did while at the Denver Botanical Gardens with my friend Tara. Yeah, we only had time to draw a couple of plants because I'd never been there before, and I was like a kid in a candy store and wanted to see everything. So we ended up touring the entire place before we sat down and actually drew for a short time. This is a horrible cat that I decided to cover up with this tribute painting that I did for Quinny after she passed. So yeah, little tribute painting I did for her, one of her paintings in my style. These. I was feeling really down for a while about my art and decided to create myself a couple of stickers based on some of my favorite anime boys. So Inosuke from Demon Slayer and Rock Lee from Naruto. And here are my little stickers that I did, and I love them. They're so cute. Did these for myself. Haven't put them on anything because I haven't figured out what to do with them yet. But I have them, so I'm happy. This is a little landscape painting that I did with watercolor based off of a scene from Demon Slayer, which is why there's some blood. Little thumbnail that I did, testing out the colored pencils that I carry with me in my backpack all the time, just to see how well they kind of go together. And then me just filling up space with some extra watercolor I had in my palette and was cleaning it off. Here's a little mixed media portrait that I did, watercolor and colored pencil and gel pen. And then here is a fire type Pokemon, Oricorio, that I did for a Facebook group that I belong to, where they do a prompt every week, a random prompt, and a few weeks ago it was fire Pokemon. So I decided to do something that I'd never heard of before and did this sweet little bird, who is a dancing type Pokemon, and actually there's 4 types of them. Yes, 4 types of them, and this is one of my favorite ones. There's 2 of them that I love. This one and the kind of Japanese dance style one that they have. Yeah. Here's Astro Boy. This painting is super old. One of my very first like watercolor paintings that I did, I want to say it was like 2011, 2012-ish. Like, this thing is old, and you can tell this thing has been like changed different colors because you used to have it framed and the sun would hit part of it. So it's got these different colors to it from the sun, and I still love it. I love how it came out. And I put them there to cover this monstrosity that I did. You can see hand. So I was too lazy to draw the hands. And then this was a little portrait I did of a bald girl because I need to get better at drawing like heads and such proportionately. And yeah, she's got 3 eyes. And I like her lips and her nose and her eyes and her ears. And I like everything about this except for the fact that I used colored pencils. And these were some colors that I used, you know, kind of based off of her head. Yeah. This interesting fellow was an alien that I had a nightmare about. He was very, very pale. I didn't quite accurately capture like these things because it was like his face was covered and then it would pull back to reveal his 4 creepy eyes and like just a blank face, and he had this weird little proboscis thing. It was very alien inspired, and I had this nightmare after my boyfriend surprised me with the 4K like 40th anniversary Alien movie, which I was so excited about because I'm obsessed with Alien. My youngest is named after the director of Alien, and yeah, so he got it for me for Christmas and then gave it to me like a week or so ago because he forgot about it. He lost it and forgot about it, and then I had a nightmare about it, and it was very, very freaky. So I drew this at like 2 o'clock in the morning after I had the nightmare because I didn't want to forget it. And if you've ever seen the movie Prometheus, at the very end when you see like that fresh xenomorph and his face peels back and he like kind of screeches, that's more what it looked like as far as the part that came back. So anyways. Here are some poses that I was practicing based off of Rock Lee because I've been rewatching Shippuden a lot lately, and Rock Lee, of course, is my favorite character. So just some poses based off of him. These were 2 random anime characters I found on Pinterest, and Rock Lee and Neji and ramen, because I'm craving ramen. So this was actually the very last page that I did. So I go out of order and I jump around a lot, but this was the last page that I filled. So you can see the 28th and then March 4th. And this was, you know, I shared this. I'm super excited. This is the little rubber ducky isopod, because we have isopods now. Some different types of pitcher plants. We've got the sun pitcher plant, and I don't even know what this one's called, but people call it like a monkey cup. And then just a random portrait that I did. And I didn't know what to fill the space up with, so I put a completion tarot card that I found on a walk that we went on. Here's my kingfisher that I did with a foldable watercolor set that I have. He's very bright, and I love how like pigmented he is with those watercolors. Here's a fun little spread where I was painting like ingredients and things that you need to make cakes. So I wanted to paint cakes because I love baking and I love eating what I bake. So just some swatches of colors, eggs, flour, whisk, and then cakes. And I wanted to make it super colorful, so I added these in there too, and little color spots. So yeah. And finally, our last page is the Totoro tea paint that I did in a previous, I think my last video. Of this little Totoro, which I kind of revisited from this one. Wow, that actually, I didn't mean to flip to it automatically. So it was me revisiting this one here. So I like the face of this one a lot more with the big eyes versus this one. But yeah, I decided to redo him in a different style. So, and that's it. That is it for my 4-year-old sketchbook that I finished in 4 years. It took me 4 years to finish this guy. And then I did a little poll on my Instagram for which one I should do next of my sketchbooks, between my handbook travel log one and my Moshy Co. And the one that was voted for the most was my Moshy one. So I've already started working in this. I mean, I started working in this before I even finished this one, because I just needed a smaller, smaller pages to work on. So this is the one that I'm doing now. All right, well, thank you for hanging out and going through a really old sketchbook with me. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I was really excited to look at my old drawings and see how much I've grown since and what I've been able to do since, and just, it's reassuring to look at old stuff and think, wow, I've really improved since I've done this, because it was rubbish before and now it's only half rubbish. So go improve, go practice. Yeah, thanks again, guys. I hope you have a fabulous day, and I will see you guys for my next video next week. Bye.